London wakes slowly at dawn, its streets beginning another ordinary day, while inside one quiet family home, a very different story is about to unfold. From the outside, this family appeared to have everything needed for stability: 2 full-time incomes, a secure home, and 2 bright teenage children. They had built a life that looked secure from the outside, with steady employment, a family home, and children growing up surrounded by opportunity. Their son and daughter were growing into confident teenagers, accustomed to comfort, expensive possessions, and a lifestyle their parents worked hard to provide. But beneath that comfortable appearance, something was beginning to go wrong. The family's spending was quietly moving far beyond what their household income could sustain. They did not lose everything because of unemployment, illness, or sudden tragedy. Their downfall began with choices rooted in love and fueled by fear. And sometimes, the hardest word for a parent to say is the one that could protect the entire family: no. The couple were in their early 40s, hard-working, dedicated, proud parents of 2 teenagers. On the surface, they looked like any other modern family. But behind the scenes, something wasn't right. The children lived a lifestyle far beyond the family's financial means. Not because they were entitled, but because their parents had unintentionally taught them that anything they wanted, they could have. Every Christmas, the latest PlayStation. Every September, a new designer school bag. Every year, the newest iPhone. Even reading glasses had to be a designer brand. This is despite free NHS option reading glasses. The parents believed they were giving their children the childhood they never had. But in reality, they were giving them something else entirely: a false sense of wealth. As the children grew older, the demands grew with them. And slowly, the family's finances began to unravel. Rent payments slipped, credit cards filled up, bills were pushed aside. Savings? There were none. But instead of confronting the problem, the couple kept pretending everything was fine. They believed things would work themselves out. They believed next month would be better. They believed love meant sacrifice, even when the sacrifice was their family's stability. Their landlord was patient, understanding. He accepted late payments. He listened to excuses. He gave them time. But time wasn't enough. The arrears grew to £9,000, 3 months of unpaid rent. At this point, he had no choice. He served a Section 8 notice, giving them 4 weeks to leave. 4 weeks to find a new home. 4 weeks to face reality. 4 weeks to accept the consequences of years of financial mismanagement. But they didn't. The 4 weeks passed. The family stayed put. No savings, no new property lined up, no plan. The landlord applied to the county court for a possession order. The couple didn't attend the hearing. They didn't file a defense. They simply ignored it. The court granted the order. They were given 28 days to leave. Still, they stayed. The couple continued living as if nothing was happening. They went to work. The teenagers went to school. They bought groceries. They watched TV. They decorated the house for Christmas. They acted as if the eviction wasn't real, as if ignoring it would make it disappear. But reality doesn't disappear. It arrives. On a cold December morning, the bailiffs arrived. The family were still in their pajamas. Nothing was packed. Not a single box, not a single bag. Under the Christmas tree, neatly wrapped gifts waited for a Christmas that would never happen in that home. The bailiffs gave them minutes, not hours, to gather what they could. Designer clothes, latest gadgets, sneakers, consoles, all left behind. The locks were changed. The family stood outside, homeless. With nowhere else to go, the family approached their local council's housing options team. They explained the eviction. They explained the arrears. They explained their situation. But the council had to follow the law. After assessing the case, the council found the family intentionally homeless. Why? Because the property would have remained suitable and available to them if they had paid their rent. They had the income, they had the ability. They simply prioritized wants over needs. They were given notice that the temporary accommodation they were placed in will be ending after 28 days of receipt Section 184 intentionally homeless decision letter from the council. They were advised that the council owes them a relief duty for 56 days and that they could be assisted with the payment of 1 month rent in advance and deposit if they found themselves a 2-bedroom property to rent in the private rented sector. The reality is that it is more difficult for someone who has a poor credit rating to successfully find a landlord who is willing to take on such as a tenant. With no savings, no property, and no council duty owed, the family had only one option left. They moved in with the wife's elderly mother. A 2-bedroom flat, already cramped, already full. Now home to 5 people. The teenagers, once surrounded by luxury, now shared a room, whilst the parents slept in the living room. No designer decor, no private space, no gadgets, just consequences. For the first time, the parents had to sit their teenagers down and explain everything. How they fell behind, how they ignored the warnings, how they failed to prioritize their responsibilities, how they allowed their children to dictate spending, how they confused love with indulgence. It was a painful conversation, but a necessary one, because this wasn't just about losing a home, it was about losing control. This story isn't about blaming children. They only know what they are taught. They only expect what they are given. This story is a reminder to all parents to teach your children financial literacy. Teach them boundaries. Teach them the value of money. Teach them that what we wear does not define us. Teach them that saving and investing matters more than showing off. Because the cost of avoiding these lessons can be everything. the question remains, have the couple learnt their lesson? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain. Their story is not unique. It is happening quietly in homes across the globe. Families living beyond their means. Parents afraid to say no. Children growing up believing money is endless, until reality arrives. Financial literacy starts at home. Teach it early. Teach it often. If you found this story insightful, subscribe for more real-life housing stories and lessons that empower families and communities.